Hello and welcome. My name is Jennifer Kem from Cancer Bridges, and tonight we are talking about the University of Pittsburgh Medical School's longitudinal program. And we have with us tonight Dr. Ozipuk. Am I saying that right?
Talk, yep.
Ozipuk and Shelley Wargo. And so they both are going to share a lot of details about this fantastic program where you can match up with a medical student for 4 years and actually help them mold how they become a physician. I'm pretty excited about it. I'm very grateful that you're here. And I am going to, if you want to, I don't know if Dr. Ozipuk, if you want to start your slides, I'm going to get off the screen.
All right. Can you guys see that?
Yes.
Okay. So just so you know some of the names on the front here, Lisa Podgorski is our director. She's a palliative care physician at UPMC. She has been with the program for many, many years. This program started about 10 or 15 years ago as an elective program for the medical students. And within the last year, it has become an integral part of their curriculum. So all the students now participate. So Lisa's out of the office this week, so she couldn't be here, but Shelley and I are happy to be here to represent the program and are available for any questions you have as they come up. So what is the Longitudinal Alliance Program? So this was started by one of our family medicine physicians several years ago. And the idea behind it was to help create doctors worth loving. So the thought was when patients really say, oh, I love my physician, we wanted that to happen more often. And one of the ways that we felt would be helpful for students to learn about this is to actually hear from patients from day one and follow them throughout their medical school career. And really the important part of the patients in this program is actually to be a teacher for the students. So what can you do if you participate in this? So just to go through the general structure of the program, if you sign up to be a participant, we match you with 1 or 2 first-year medical students, and they'll meet with you intermittently, and I'll go through details of that. And the goal is for them to get to know you as a person and as a patient, and to learn from you about how you navigate the healthcare system. So some things that you may want to talk to them about would be what it's like to really be a patient. How do you manage your appointments? How do you get your medications? How some doctors really help you, and maybe how the healthcare system can be frustrating. So when the medical students start in first year, they really don't have a lot of medical knowledge, and they really are just kind of learning the book knowledge. And so this gives them some insight into patient care and what it's like to be a patient. A lot of the things we hear about are navigating insurance companies and a lot of the other things that come up in healthcare that's not just, what is my medical problem, but how do I navigate this healthcare system? So one of the other advantages of this program is that you can have an ally in the medical field. So your medical student can listen to your story, join you for doctor's visits, and really walk with you as you go through your healthcare. As I said, medical students really enter the program with no medical knowledge. And then as they grow, you can watch them transform over time into a physician, and hopefully a physician whose values and styles you've helped to form. So some patients say, like, what's in it for me? Why should I sign up to this? Well, for this, one is you'll form a connection with a future doctor or two, and you'll have a chance to make sure your voice is being heard. You'll also join a community of people. So these other educators, patients who are educating the other students in the class, who are dedicating themselves to training doctors who are worth trusting. One of the things that we're hoping to do this next year to help build the community is to potentially have a picnic at the end of the summer for all of the patients that helps to train the medical students. And also we try to send out a newsletter every few months to kind of keep you updated on the program and what people are doing. And then at the end of the training, we also are hoping that our students will give you something back. And this might be a capstone project. So for example, we've had students that make a very detailed medical list for their patients and write down what every medicine is for, and they give that to them. Some students at the VA do something called a My Life, My Story, where they write up the patient's life story and actually put that in the chart so everybody knows, what people you are, not just as a patient and a medical issue, but also you as a person. So we get a lot of frequently asked questions. So one thing that we kind of want to go through is what makes an ideal patient for this program. So one, we'd like patients who have active chronic medical issues that warrant doctor visits at least 3 to 4 times a year. And this is just so that your student has enough things to talk to you about, and to make sure that they have opportunities to go to appointments with you. You also need to be willing to be in contact with the patient over a 4-year period. We know the future is hard to predict, so don't worry if you're worried about 4 years from now. But if you know, for example, that you're going to move in 6 months, probably not a good idea to sign up for the program. We also would like someone who has a reliable way for students to stay in touch with them. Usually our students are either calling you on the phone or emailing to set up an initial appointment, but we do have students that also can text and set things up to meet with you that way. You should be willing to have students to at least some of your healthcare appointments and be willing to talk about your health issues with the students, or if you are a caretaker, maybe you can share about your family member. And then this is one that kind of limits us a little bit is because the students are at the University of Pittsburgh School of Medicine, their privileges are through the UPMC system and the VA. So usually we ask that our participants from the patient perspective are UPMC patients or at the VA so that they have appointments in Oakland or nearby campuses. Unfortunately, right now our students cannot go to like appointments at AHN or Heritage Valley or something like that. So we are seeking patients that are UPMC affiliated. So other things that come up, what about my privacy? So medical students will discuss what they're learning from you in their small groups, but it's all anonymous. So we won't mention names or identifying factors, and they are bound by the same privacy laws as physicians. The students do not access your medical record in the first about 18 months of their training. Once they enter their clinical years, they will have access to medical records. And there are times when we tell them to work with you to look at their chart so that they can look at what maybe the doctor's writing or what appointments you have coming up. So there is an opportunity for them to look at your medical chart, but only once they're in their clinical phase. And if you are okay with that. And then how much time will this take? In the first 2 years, the students contact our patients about every 2 to 3 months. And once they move into the clinical rotations, it's a little less frequent, usually every 6 months or so. Meetings, what we count as a meeting, we do ask that it's face-to-face. So that can be either virtual on Zoom or FaceTime, or it can be in person at a public location like a coffee shop, or they can attend a doctor's appointment with you. So just to get an idea from the student perspective, the students are asked to meet with you and between each of their small group sessions. And then every couple months, they meet as a group of about 8 to 10 students with a faculty member, and they discuss what they've learned. And each of their discussions groups has a certain theme to it. So the first is that they're supposed to just learn, how do you talk about your illness and your life story? And then they debrief kind of how it went interacting with you. Some students are just learning how to talk to patients. They're learning how to gather information, and sometimes they don't know how to react in certain situations. So this is a time for them to discuss that. Then we have them discuss with you about your family, your culture, other things in your social life that may impact your health. The third session is very fun because they get to talk about something science related that's based on your condition. So for example, we've had patients that had a stroke, and so the student has given presentations on what part of the brain did the stroke affect and how that worked, so that they can learn from you to apply back to their clinical coursework. The fourth and fifth sessions, we expand into the interprofessional realm. And so we bring in different guest speakers from pharmacy, physical therapy, social workers. And so that we give the students the opportunity to learn from those people. And we also ask them to ask you, who else do you interact with on a regular basis in your healthcare journey? And then the last part is when they're getting ready to transition into their clinical phase. This is a part when they become more of a physician role. They're going to be transitioning into their clinical role. So they're thinking about how that may change them as a person and also taking what they've learned from you into the clinical realm. And then they'll keep meeting with you after that, but this is sort of a snapshot of the first 18 months. And we have the dates that the students are meeting in a small group on the side there, just to give you an idea of when the encounters may take place with you. It would be in between each of these. As I said, the student should have at least one in-person contact between each of the small group sessions, and one of those needs to be a doctor's appointment with you. So some point between September and October of, between 2024 and 2025, they should go to one doctor appointment with you. They can go to more, but we ask that they go to one. So I just pulled a couple quotes from our student evaluations too, just to give you a snapshot of what some of our students are saying about this Longitudinal Alliance program and how much they've enjoyed it this year. And this was really exciting for us to see how students are responding. And then I know we have one of our patients is here to tell you about her perspective as well as a participant. So I'll just put up some of the quotes. So one student said, "I love the LAP program. I've learned so much from our patient." Someone else said, "I enjoyed hearing stories about providers who had positive impacts and internalizing that to change how I engage with patients." So really taking what they learned from their patients' interaction with their doctors and using that for their own learning. "I found it gratifying to gain insights into the patient's perspective on navigating the healthcare system. The most rewarding aspect of LAP was getting to meet my assigned patient and her family, who are truly the salt of the earth. I'm continually inspired by their positive attitude towards life and perseverance in dealing with challenges. We loved having the privilege of joining someone on their medical journey and hearing about their emotions, good and bad, that we may never have considered or understood from the healthcare perspective. And then it's really rewarding to know that my patient felt really listened to in our conversations, given the fact that she felt that she struggles to feel understood by her providers." And then there's some more quotes on here too about, interacting with a patient's family dynamics, learning what it means to live with the condition when you've only talked about the science at that point in your training. This person developed what they felt was a trusting and genuine relationship with their patient. And then also, again, addressing some of these, issues that patients see and learning from the patient that, this isn't their fault. Oftentimes they're doing everything that they can, and the healthcare system is sometimes working against them. And so really trying to be understanding of that as they enter their clinical years. And then this was also another student saying that, they felt like they had more context. So when they were listening to their patient talk to their doctor, they recognized what they did and didn't tell their physician, and they could kind of have a better understanding of why they said or didn't say something during their visit. So if you have questions, we're happy to answer them now. If you're ready to sign up, our email address is there. It's longitudinalallianceprogram@outlook.com. And then Shelley Wargo, who's on the call with us today, that her phone number is there as well if you'd like to call her. And she keeps an eye on our Longitudinal Alliance Outlook email, so she would be responding to you with that. So I will open it up for questions, and we are happy to answer those. And then if there are no questions, we can also move on to our patient perspective too.
Here, we'll just move on to Debbie and then we'll go
Okay.
into questions.
Great. I will stop sharing this. If anybody needs this information, we can put it in the chat.
All right. Go ahead, Deb.
Okay. Hi, Wanda. Hi, Jonathan. So I learned about this program actually through the Happy Feet program last year, right, Jen?
Right.
Because you did a presentation, and I was interested And I called, and then they said, oh, they were filled. They didn't really need me. And then 2 days later, I get an email saying, yeah, we do need you. So I was very fortunate. And I have to say, I feel privileged to be part of this program. I was assigned to two extraordinary young women who, I can't believe they're going to start their second year of medical school this year, who have partnered with me and my journey this year with breast cancer and a lot of other things that happen because of medications and lung damage and everything. So I've had quite a journey this year, and they have been wonderful to be there to listen. They've been great listeners. I think I jumped on the program because I personally have had a background in my career of working with students. I love watching students grow. And I think I have to share that anytime I tell any of my friends or anybody that I'm doing this, their reaction is always, what a great idea that is. They need to be doing that. They need students to hear from the patient perspective, and what a great opportunity it is for you to really share what's going on. They don't give medical advice. They can't. I don't expect that from them. They've been patient and kind and listened to my, my journey has been pretty up and down this year. And so it's been nice to have that perspective and to know that hopefully I am giving back in some way by giving of my time and sharing what has gone well, what has not gone well, my struggles with dealing with the healthcare system and getting the right care. How many times I've had to try to get an appointment, or how many times I've seen somebody till I get somebody that really knew what was going on. And then the other interesting thing is they did come with me to an oncology gynecology appointment, and were there while I had an exam, and the physician was great, and he thought the program was great. I asked permission first for them to come with me. And so, it's interesting because I think a lot of the physicians don't know about this program, the working physicians out there that, aren't in school. But anyway, but I asked permission and they came. And at the end of my exam and everything, he shared with them an experience that he personally had when he was in medical school. And he said that he had a skin issue that he was concerned about, and he finally got an appointment with the dermatologist, and he waited in the office for 2.5 hours. And the physician walked in and literally spent 2 seconds looking at his skin, turned and walked out and said, "You're going to be fine." And that was all he said to him. And my physician turned to the students and said, at that very moment, I decided I was never going to treat a patient that way. And I thought, and they, it was just really neat that the physician even shared his perspective with the students too, about how important it is to care for your patients and how you treat your patients. So again, it's just been an opportunity for me to tell my story, my ups and downs, for them to listen, hopefully learn. They're very caring. We do communicate. We've FaceTimed, we text, we email, and I've met with them 3 times face to face. So the biggest hurdle probably is scheduling when my appointments are and when they might be available to do that. Because I live in Greensburg too, but all my appointments are in either McGee or Shadyside or someplace. So trying to coordinate that has been a little bit difficult at times, but we've worked it out then, like with FaceTime or something. But I think I would like them to go to more of my appointments when I make them, but they're in school or something is going on. So that's usually a challenge. But I'm looking forward to them coming back and seeing how they've, what the new year is going to bring. And neither one of them knows which direction they want to go. It's just too early in the process of where they think they want to go with medicine. So this has been, it's been quite an experience. And again, I feel privileged and honored to be able to be part of it and hopefully make some kind of an impact on 2 future doctors. So thank you for me having an opportunity to share that.
Well, thank you so much, Debbie. I'm going to end the recording.